So listen, really, there no injuries to tell you about today. I mean, everybody practiced and they're they're ready to roll. So it was good to get our practice in. We look forward to that challenge of playing the Texans. Good football team. I think we all know that. And we've got to be prepared for 4 quarters of aggressive football. So. That's kind of where we're at. Any time's yours. Go ahead.
Go to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy. I know we've asked you about this a little bit before, but just 2 days out, how close to just a normal week 1 quality of play do you expect to see?
Yeah. Listen, I mean, that's maybe the unknown here, right? So there's always different things that happen in the first game anyways. And now you add on the fact that teams weren't able to do much in the off season other than virtually. So I'll be curious, like you are, to see how it all rolls. I think we can put a pretty good show on between the 2 teams because of the veteran players that both teams have and coaches. So, but we'll see how it all works out.
Go to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach. Dave Tobe was mentioning yesterday with his call with us that he's comfortable with Harrison Butker kicking a 60-yard field goal within a vacuum, of course, all things considered with the weather. Where's your comfort level as far as distance is concerned with Butker?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the elements, I'm sure, but I think what he's probably saying there is that his leg has gotten progressively stronger the years we've had him. So, and he looks like he's hitting it pretty good right now. We'll see on game day, what develops. I mean, we always kind of do a marking there of where the cutoff point is. So we'll see how he does.
Go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, just wondering whether the things on your list of concerns this year are any different than any other year, or there's maybe some COVID-related things. Just what might be some things this year that are different on your list of concerns, or are there any?
No, I mean, no, there's really not. I mean, we, other than wearing a mask and a face shield, it's like a game, right? So no fans in the stands, or just a few fans. By the way, I'm looking forward to our fans being in there. I know they're going to be loud as get out. They're going to cover the all the areas of the stands, and so we need everybody hooting and hollering, man, the best they possibly can. It's a great challenge for the fans as it is for us playing. So, but we do look forward to having that stadium open there.
Let's go to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, Coach, I actually kind of wanted to ask you about that and about the, kind of what you're expecting from the fact that it's going to be a smaller crowd. And, when's the last time you remember maybe coaching in front of a crowd of maybe 16 or 17,000?
Oh, probably San Francisco State. I mean, we on a good day, if we were playing UC Davis, we would, have that. But it's been a while since that's taken place. But I think it's unique. I mean, I know they're going to be loud. That's the one thing I do know, because they had like I mentioned the other day, they had the ultimate jump ball just to get in to the stadium. So however that was picked, I know, they'll be revved up and ready to go. So, but yeah, I'd probably say San Francisco State.
Looks like we've got 2 more hands up, Coach. Start with Darren, and we'll finish with Sarin. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon to you. Just, curious, now that you've won a Super Bowl, you're going into the Thursday night's game, have you had a chance to maybe reflect on your entire coaching career? And now that you've, gotten over the hump, maybe think about, well, if I'd have done this, I might have more than one Super Bowl title, just, how the ball falls out. And then also just your thoughts on Kareem Hunt's contract extension and Dustin Coker getting a chance to, continue on with his career.
Yeah, I mean, if I could have been a little more of a Promethean coach, I would have been okay. But I've tried to work hard at that, and to try to keep it fresh and and creative and original as we possibly can. But listen, I don't go back. I don't. I let you guys do all that. I try to keep moving forward the best way we can, and I just feel like you, all of you guys. I think we're all honored to be able to either cover the National Football League or be a part of it. So I love every minute of it. Yeah.
Let's go to Seren Petra. Go ahead, Seren.
Coach, week one always presents some challenges. You've got a great record, though you've only lost once in week one here in Well, you got a great record across the board, so I don't know that it maybe really stands out. But for you, there's obviously different challenges in that week one. What does make it so much more difficult for people? And then I'm curious if just on top of that, you know, the whole COVID thing and everything that's gone on, do you get a sense that it's going to magnify the better teams? In other words, like if you're good, you're going to separate from the pack even more, or is it going to kind of blur the lines and maybe bring people closer together and create more of a mediocrity type thing?
No, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to it. We're so focused in on just trying to make sure that every play that we run, you know, is productive, and they're focused in on every play we run not to be productive. So, and vice versa when you talk about our defense. So, who knows? Who knows how that works, or why, you know, the record or any of that has worked. We're focused in on this game, and you guys are asking me a lot of questions that I don't like to delve into, and that's the past, because right when you do that in this business, it kicks you right in the tail. So you got to move forward, and you're only as good as your next game or play, and I mean that's just how it is. I mean that's the name of this game.
You were known as a speedster in college. What do you think of the speed of the program so far? And then a really quick follow-up. Coach Bieniemy said fumbles are highest in that first game of the year, and obviously weather might be an element Thursday night as well. What kind of emphasis are coaches putting on ball security this week?
Well, to answer your first question, the speed of the NFL is something to be unmatched. This is literally, it's a National Football League. It's the highest that you can possibly go as far as playing professional football. So the speed is going to be as fast as, you know, each game will be. Every game I feel like will be different, but the speed will ultimately be unmatched. As far as ball security, as far as week one, Coach Reid and Coach EB has hound down on in it. As far as this week and really putting emphasis on the fact that they know this is the week that ball security should be a priority, and it is every week. But you know, just knowing that the numbers of week one has always escalated, always been emphasis on ball security. Since I've been playing football, it's my job as far as a running back to protect the football, and our job as an offense to protect the football. So we're going out there and protect the football and hold it high and tight and secure it.
Let's go to Blair Kirchhoff. Go ahead, Blair.
Clyde, I'm just wondering if Coach Bieniemy or any of the other coaches or teammates have mentioned to you what happened the last time the Chiefs started a rookie running back in an opening game.
No, sir. I have not been reminded.
So you don't know about the Kareem Hunt game a couple of years ago, 3 years ago in New England?
No, sir. I don't.
Okay. Hey, do you have any first game goals for yourself?
As far as my goals to go out and execute and do my job. As far as my 111, I know that as far as the game plan, the details that's in for the halfback, I'm going to hound on in on it. As far as study as much as I possibly can and prepare as much as I can up until game time, and go out there and do my job on Thursday.
Let's go to Steve Walls. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm curious, what would that first snap be like for you on Thursday night? I know some athletes, like to use the technique of closing their eyes and simulating a game-like situation. Have you done that at all and thought about what that first one would be like?
Oh, no. I haven't as far as the first snap. Don't even know as far as the first play. Still kind of doing some things throughout this game week. Everything's not finalized until ultimately we close everything up, and this is, ultimately we know the game plan. So as far as visualizing and ultimately my first snap, I'm gonna be nervous. That's just what it is. It's that goes to show that I'm a human, and this is my first NFL game. I really don't know what to expect. It's a 22% of the fans are going to be there, so it's not going to be a full. Everything is kind of up in the air for everybody. So ultimately, my job is to put my helmet on and whenever they call a play, do my job.
Let's go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Clyde, the last real football game you played in was for the national championship. So I'm just curious what your emotions are, what you talked a little bit about maybe being a little nervous on the first play. Just what can you compare this situation to that one as far as that goes?
As far as comparing it, I really don't want to compare the two just because it's two different levels. I don't want to say two different mindsets, but ultimately, I have to go in with a different mindset. This is not the college football national championship game. This is the opening game of my NFL season and NFL career. So ultimately, I'm coming in with not necessarily an open book, but knowing what I do best and knowing why I'm here and going out there and do that.
Go to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Clyde. So you've talked about your goals, but on Thursday night, you're realizing a lifelong dream. You've been working your whole life to do this. You'll be on a professional football field playing football. What's it going to mean to you to be playing for the Chiefs out there on Thursday night?
It's literally going to mean the world. It's going to mean everyone who has had their hand in the Clyde pot, which has not been a lot growing up. Just being from Baton Rouge and just understanding just the circumstance of coming out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's for me, it's going to be important, but before the people that's around me that supported me the most, and ultimately got me through just the hardships of growing up where I grew up at. Ultimately, I'm doing it for them. And personally, you can say you're doing it for yourself, but ultimately, it's the connections and everything that you make coming up in this profession. So ultimately, I just want to make those people happy.
Let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
It could be just because of the circumstances of this year, but it just seems like both locally and nationally, you have one of the most highly anticipated debuts of all time. How have you been able to handle really just a lot of this noise and hype going into what people are looking forward to watching in your game?
I really don't be on Twitter or Instagram. I like as far as fantasy and just being online and just social media and everything, I'm really not big on it. So I really don't see a lot of it. I come to practice every day, come to work, look at my stuff at night, and come in and do my job. Ultimately, I'm just doing what I've been doing my whole life. So I don't look into just those little things as far as this is what everybody's expecting. I know what I expect from myself. I know what they expect from me at this organization, and that's what I'm here to do what I need to do.
Let's go to Seren Petra. Go ahead, Seren. Oh, try that.
You got it? You all right,
Gotcha.
G? All right, thanks, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Clyde, I'm curious, have any of the vets, I know you mentioned the coaches a little bit talking to you, but is there any veteran come by and giving you some advice, like who that is and what that advice is for the first game? And then secondarily, I know you're focused on this game, and that's where everything is. And you mentioned about the social media, but also going on right now, there are like a lot of running backs getting contracts, right? Alvin Kamara's in the news. Joe Mixon's getting it. I know you'd like to be there one day. Does that creep in, or are you paying attention to that while this is going on?
As far as me paying attention to other guys and what they have going on in their life, I'm not paying attention to it. I was in camp, guys getting contract extensions and everything else, and I'm learning a playbook. So I'm not worried about everything else going on over the course of the league. I've only been here probably right at about officially here probably right at about a month and a half, 2 months. So as far as looking at everybody else's numbers, and I really wasn't concerned about it. First question, could you repeat it? I don't remember.
Just any of the veterans. Has there been a veteran that's come by and given you some good advice about how it's going to change, pros, college? They always said, normally they tell you preseason's faster than, college, and then it gets even faster and then faster in the playoffs. I'm just curious if, you kind of had to skip that step. Is there any advice anyone's given you?
If I told you all the advice I've given, we'll be sitting here all day. I mean, I talked to Pat, talked to Darryl, talked to Sherm, I talked to D-Train, guys on defense. I talked to Tyron a lot as far as some of the things that he sees, the whole linebacker core as far as what they see in my run game. Talked to Chris Jones, some of the things that he sees from a defensive line standpoint, and the things that they see from me. Talked to Frank Clark. I mean, it's as far anything that I can get from everybody else that's pretty much going against me or can see the things that I'm doing, tendencies or anything. I try to get those outside perspectives so I can kind of mold my game into different little, nuances and have people second guess all the things that I do. So ultimately, I've just been kind of getting a little nicks and knacks from everybody in the organization.
Looks like we've got time for a couple more guys. Let's go Matt and then Karen to close out. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Clyde, I was wondering if you could take us back to your first game at LSU and the feelings that you were going through that day, what was going through your mind, what stands out to you about that day?
Ultimately, my first game at LSU, I was playing in New Orleans. I was playing BYU. My freshman year was 2017. I was really just kind of floating. I was behind two guys. I was behind Darrell Williams and Darius Geis, also Nick Brossette. So I was really just hoping that I could get some spins during that game. Ended up getting some late in the fourth quarter, so kind of got the jitters out. But ultimately, nervousness. Two different ballparks. This is the NFL. That was college. Ultimately, I wasn't even going in and start my freshman first game, but so I'm ready to do this on Thursday.
Let's go to Karen to close it out. Go ahead, Miss Karen.
Hey, Clyde, just two things. One, you're going to be facing Houston, a team that really is upset. They were up 24 points in the playoffs and then lost to the Chiefs, led by J.J. Watt, one of the best defensive players in the league. Is it exciting to be facing Houston your first time out on the field for the Chiefs? And then the second is just, Arrowhead's the loudest stadium in the league when they have people. Is there a little disappointment that you're not going to feel that in the first game because there's just 22% of the fans? So the first question about J.J. Watt and their defense, and the second about not hearing the loudest stadium when you take the field.
Yes, ma'am. So as far as the first question, going against Houston for the first game is ultimately, I mean, competition is competition, and as far as us being the defending world champions, I mean, we're looking forward to any competition that we can possibly get. I mean, I'm excited. I grew up literally watching J.J. Watt on TV and playing against him on a video game and everything else. So, all this, the whole NFL thing right now is still kind of, crazy to me, but ultimately it's a reality. And then lastly, as far as the capacity of the stadium and understanding Chiefs Kingdom and how loud the stadium will be, I never been to the stadium with the full crowd. So, it's going to be a little weird with it not being 100% filled, but ultimately this would be my first time in the stadium with 22%. So as loud as it will get, that's the loudest that I would have ever heard it. So ultimately, it's still, everything will be fresh and new to me. For some of those other vet guys, it'll be a little different to them, but for me, I'm still going to be in the moment.
I was curious, in general, how has training camp gone, and how comfortable do you feel with the system going into the first game? Do you feel like you can play with confidence and not have to overthink too much?
Oh, yeah, man. Training camp was great. We all got better, and I feel like coming in without, the OTAs and the rookie mini camp and all that, I feel like with just training camp that I'm in a good position and I can definitely play fast without thinking. So.
Go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Willie, good to see you. I want to follow up there on Pete's question. Is there something that you can specifically identify that makes you feel most confident that you're ready for this sort of first game without having preseason to sort of ramp you up for this?
Man, really, it's just like a everyday grind for me, man. I can't really point just a single thing out, but I'm just ready. I don't even know what to say. You know, been preparing since I landed in Kansas City. You know, and it's almost time now.
Let's go to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Willie. Talking to Coach Tobe yesterday, you mentioned you're going to play a lot on special teams. How have you embraced those roles?
Oh man, I love them. You know, just to be on the field is a big blessing for me. So defense, offense, special teams, man, they all important. You know, so to be able to say I'm gonna be a big time player on special teams is great. You know, and I'm excited for that.
Let's go to Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren.
Willie, and talking with some of the guys, some of the second-year guys, right, and asking them what's different now, to a man, they all kind of pointed to the fact that, you know, the first year, it's so much about going to the combine, right? So much about getting ready, getting, almost a different kind of training than it is football training. And they felt like they're much more equipped. Darwin Thompson said this, that they're much more equipped to play football, that they're in better football shape. You know, I don't suppose they would have said that sitting there year one, right? In where you are. So I'm just curious, looking at that view, what kind of shape do you think you're in? Do you feel like you've had time to adequately prepare to be in football shape, or are you still kind of in that workout combine shape?
Oh yeah, well, man, we've been practicing for a long time now, and training camp was long. Of course, everyone knows that. So every single day of practice, you run hard and every single play. And of course, I'm a special teams guy, so I mean, you got as many plays as possible to run and get your work in, and so that really helps when game time comes.
Let's go to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Willie, I'm just curious, what do you remember about your first game at Mississippi State and getting out there on the field and kind of the emotions that were going through your mind that day?
Man, I still remember my first interview after that game, so it's crazy you asked. But, man, I just remember my first play on defense, like just seeing the student section and just like dreaming of that moment before, and now I'm living it, kind of like it's going to be this Thursday. So it's special for sure.
Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Willie, a couple things. First of all, how much are you expecting to play on Thursday night on defense? And also, what do you remember from that interview you just talked about, that interview after your first game at Mississippi State?
Well, I'm going to play as much as Coach Baggs, allows me to. And whenever he puts me on the field, man, I'm going to be there. So that's all I can really say on that. And about that interview, they was really just asking me how did it feel to get my first action in the SEC and as a college player. And really it's going to feel just like this Thursday. I'm excited right now. A little nervous, because it's just a new scene for me. And but really ready to just get going and get this NFL career off to a good start.
Looks like we've got a couple more hands up. We'll go Karen and then Seren. Go ahead, Karen.
Hi, Willie. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, great. I'm having trouble with my computer, so just want to be sure you can hear me. Question is, Coach said there's so much unknown about this first game because of the virus and just because of all that. But here you are, and normally we would ask you, are you excited about the Arrowhead experience? Are you excited about what you've heard about that? You're with the Super Bowl team, but all those things are different. You got 17,000 fans, and has any of that taken away from the excitement you expect to feel running out on that field, even though there's only 17,000 people in the stadium?
Well, I'm just excited to be on the field with my team, and to finally get a chance to play in the NFL, But of course, I heard about the stadium and how rowdy it can get, and I love that kind of stuff. So, but to say that I can't play, with those fans in the stands this season, it hurts a little bit. But I'm still excited just as much. So.
Let's go to Seren to close it out. Go ahead, Seren.
Willie, I can't top that. I'm going to let you go.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There it is.
Thank you.